It's got a circle going on. 1 second. Okay, maybe I'm going. Hi, everybody. I am your Miss Iowa Nation Nationals 2020. And I'm going to hop on a little bit early to answer any questions you guys may have about me, the organization, just to get some people flowing in for our audience. So feel free to start asking away in the comment section and we can get started. If it wasn't for this horrible rain, right? It's raining here in Iowa. Trying to pull up the live so I can see who's on my tablet. Okay. So with our pageant organization today, for all of those that are slowly turning in, I'm going to be going over how to be organized in a pageant, as well as how this can transfer into your own life. And with that being said, we are going to get started here once we get a couple more people in. I just wanted to kind of get on and hop on to be able to answer any questions any of you guys may have in the meantime. And we have one viewer. So to get a little bit started as we wait for some people to come in, as I mentioned, I am your Miss Iowa Nation Nationals 2020. I have been doing pageantry, oh gosh, since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I have loved it, every minute of it. I did, however, take time off to focus on my schooling for college, as that is very important to do. And then I took a leap of faith and came out of retirement in 2019. And so ever since then, I've just been trying to figure out what organization is my niche and my little home. And I think I found it with Nation Nationals. So it's a great organization for any of those of you who are questioning the organizations to pick from. And I'll talk a little bit more here soon about Nation Nationals. I just want to give everyone a chance to hop on, talk a little bit about myself, answer any questions before we get started about what's this video going to take place. So we'll just wait a little bit longer for some more people to hop on. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section wherever your device says it's located at. For me, it says it's on the left-hand side. So whatever works for you guys, I'll try to answer them as we go, as fast as I can, I guess, as they come in. I guess for those that are watching, what organization are you with? How long have you been with that organization? And this one froze. We'll just wait a little bit longer and see who all we can get on here. For those that are just tuning in, I am your Miss Iowa Nation Nationals 2020. We are just waiting for us to get a little bit of an audience and see how this live feed goes with Girls Who Brunch. I'm so honored to be a part of this decision-making team, to be able to be selected, and I cannot wait to see how this lesson goes for all of you. I will be teaching how to be organized within a pageant, both before, during, and after, and how some of this can transform into your everyday life. So we will wait and see, wait for some more people. Wait for some more people to hop on and we'll get started here in a few moments. Like I mentioned, for those of you that are watching, go ahead and comment what organization you are a part of, how long you've been in pageantry, and or other organizations, and what you look forward to getting out of this video. Again, this video will be on how to be organized in pageantry, both before, during, and after, as well as how this can transcribe into your everyday life. So I look forward to seeing some comments, questions, and some participation along the way. This one is froze. So, got a couple more minutes here and we'll get started. We'll wait a little bit longer. Again, I am your Miss Iowa Nation Nationals 2020, and I'm so excited to do this lesson with you guys. So we're going to get started a little early. Hope that's okay with everyone. So a little bit about myself. As I mentioned earlier, I started pageantry when I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I've been in the pageant circuit quite some time. I've been floating around the system. However, I did take a few years off to focus on grad school and my undergraduate degree. So I did take that time off, about 4.5 years. And then when I was getting ready to go back into grad school, I decided, why not? I'm home more. I can focus on this. And so I came out of retirement in 2019, and best decision I ever made. I love every minute of it. I've had 2 state titles now since coming out of retirement, and I'm so excited to have this reign with Nation Nationals, as I have a feeling, going to be my new pageant home, as some of us girls call it. So that is a little bit about me. I'm from Iowa, small town, in grad school, not much else really. But as for UNN, so Nation Nationals is an amazing organization. I can't say that enough to people that ask me about it. Their mission is to empower us individuals, not only in volunteer service, but also in the leadership qualities that an individual can possess to be successful in their everyday life and within pageantry. They want to see you grow and be the best you can be. And with doing that, they give you so many opportunities to grow. It's ridiculous. I can't even list all of them. And so it's just an amazing organization. They also have it where our divisions, you don't just age out. That's what's kind of nice and I thought was different about Nation Nationals. So we have elementary ages all the way up to, for individuals that are 40 years and older, who are married, single, divorced, widowed, you name it. That way everyone can still participate. Your love and passion for pageantry doesn't have to end because you've turned a certain age. And that's one thing I really like about Nation Nationals. Another really cool thing about the competition is that there are some required competitions, but like other pageant organizations, there's optionals as well. But your required competitions are going to be interview, introduction, evening wear, glamour / fun fashion. We also do a luncheon social, and then you'll have discussion questions on stage if you make top 3, top 5, top 10. It just kind of depends on what numbers in your age group. But those are all of our required competitions. Otherwise, there is a list a mile long of optionals so that you have fun during your national experience. What's also an interesting thing about this organization, how I mentioned the opportunity to have growth in the organization and opportunities to do things within the organization, is some of our delegates and national queens have had the option to model. Some of them have been at New York Fashion Week. That is crazy to think about. Also, some job offers have came up for people because of this job of being a state title holder or a national queen. And also, some of us were able to become published authors. I never in a million years would have thought that would have been possible, but because of organization, dedication, and commitment to an organization, they valued that and helped some of us delegates become published authors. And when they say don't just meet expectations, exceed them, Nation Nationals meets every single one of those that I put in place. So if you're interested more in about it, I can comment the link to their website below. I will do that after this video. However, it's important with organizations to always be organized and prepared. I mean, you don't want to go into something not knowing. So it's always important to do your research and prep as much as possible. My go-to motto is always, it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. So to get started, I'm going to go over pageant prep with you guys. So I always make myself a pageant binder. I normally use the 2-inch to 3-inch binders. When I first started out, I only did a 1-inch just because I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But growing up, I've always been into the organizational thing. Office supplies are like my go-to because I love organizing. So my cover of my binder, so I know what binder I'm grabbing, what binder I'm looking at, is the color of my platform. But also I put on the front whatever title I'm competing for or whatever title I currently have. So if you're competing at a state pageant, you would put, for example, your state title for whatever organization you're going for, and then below you'll put Road to State. So for mine, this is going to be my national binder. So I have my state title, Miss Iowa Nation Nationals 2020, my name, Road to Nationals, and then I always include my little business card on there because you ever lose your binder at nationals, I've actually had that happen. They have a way to get in touch with you. But also, you never know when you're going to need to whip out that card and give it to someone. I also carry my cards in my phone, my wallet. I have some in my car. My grandma even gives them out when she's at the store now. So, yeah, good to have. Next, I typically have a table of contents page, but I'm in the process of updating that as my binder is always changing. So I normally print out a table of contents, so what's in each divider, where things are located at in my binder. But another really fun thing I started just before I went into retirement is printing off your reign's achievements. So what did you achieve during your reign? What did you achieve before you got to state? Things like that, so you could always be motivated. So I, for example, this time started with my state title because that alone is an achievement. And then everything else below that since then. And I always make sure to put the date because it's always cool to look back on that you're excelling this fast in this amount of time. So that's always in there as well. And then next, I always put in my bio sheet. So some organizations, they'll call them your bio sheet, your resume, even though it's not a typical job resume, but your bio sheet. So this is a rough sketch. Our organization's in the process of updating ours, but this is what it looks like. And then I just pencil, pin it all in, and then I will type it up so it's all nice and organized. It's always good to have a clean cut bio or resume that you are going to turn in, but I always have it in the front because it's easy to grab and turn in. That's normally the first thing you turn in when you go to a check-in. But as we go through this, you'll notice all of my stuff is in clear pages. You can get these at Office Max, Walmart. Some Dollar Trees actually have them. I was kind of shocked about that. But that way everything's clean, cut, and organized, and nothing is dirty. You don't want to go to a check-in with dirty papers from coffee, or your cat spills hot chocolate on your stuff when you're working late at night. Had that happen. Learned my lesson. Another thing is your organization may have certain requirements or logs that you have to fill out along your way. So with Nation Nationals, we have it where we keep track of all, I guess this is backwards to you guys, all of our points. So I have all of my workshops I do with the dates, their points, all of my volunteer hours, all of my volunteer points. It's really important to keep log of that. So let's say last minute you decide, I want to volunteer partake in the volunteer project for optional competition, but I don't remember how many hours I had. That log will save you so much time and less headache when you have it all as you go. So I typically fill it out right after I do the workshop or I do the volunteer project, and then I print it out every so often, so it's just a hard copy in case my computer crashes. Then next, what I like to do is have my platform handy. So I actually created my own platform with the help of my coach. I'm so excited to see where this my baby grows. But I always keep a list here. So you're going to have your name of your platform that you're participating with or that you created. You're going to know that platform inside and out, and this sheet is like your cheat sheet. You're going to have your like motto, your mission, about the organization, when it was established, what all have you done with that organization? What has that organization done alone? That way, when people quiz you or ask you about your platform, maybe they want to partake in helping. Then you know it inside and out. And that's always just a good thing to flip back through. Then comes my favorite part, which is planning. So I have every month typed out, and then with our organization, we have scheduled requirements for each month, at least one project that's required. And then all the other ones are self projects. So I have my required project, self project, what it is, going down the list. However, the ones that I pencil in, these are all new ones that are coming up, so I'll put like the date with it. So then I know I have that date in my regular planner, in my phone, as a reminder, on this date, I need to do this project. And then the fun part comes with your calendar. So every month I print out a calendar for the following month. So I'll probably print June's out like mid-May, but it's all color coordinated. So all of my aqua blues are going to be all my stuff for my platform. For instance, girls with brunches on there under pink, but anything that is red and highlighted is like a required video or workshop that I have to have turned in that I found out about in advance for UNN. I have when my pageant payments are due, my self projects, all of that color coordinated. And you'll always update this monthly, because then that way you're staying on top of things, and you may find out about an appearance a week before you have it. So it's always important to always be updating that calendar. And I also update my planner with that too. However, it's a mess right now because of work, but my planner too, color coordinated, everything's in here. You want to stay on top of things. Once you get your pageant schedule, you'll put that in there as well. Then I go on to my sponsorship. So sponsorship right now is really hard with COVID-19. And unfortunately, it's affected so many businesses, and that does make things kind of hard for us that are pageant prepping early. However, I have made a spreadsheet. So these are the businesses I want to contact, their information. Some of them I was able to contact before this pandemic happened, but I will put in, did I email them or did I call them or did I send them a letter in the mail? Did they say yes? And if so, what are they going to do? Are they going to supply me with a dress or a discount on a dress? Are they going to send you free makeup samples in the mail 3 times a month? Or even just give you, here's $20, that's all I'm giving you. It's still something, and it's still something to document, so when you thank them, you know what they gave you. And then I also include a little sample of my letter that I send, just in case my computer crashes, so I have that as well. Then I have budgeting, something that all of us young adults hate doing. But it's also color coordinated, go figure. But I have it where the light green is how much is due, green is if it's paid, and then the yellow is the due date. So I have it broken down to my travel itinerary, my competition outfits, my optional competitions, how much are those fees, what outfits or needs am I going to need for that, because you want to make sure that you're not overspending or underspending. So what I like to do is also put in here, what is my goal price for that outfit? Am I wanting to spend $80 or am I wanting to spend $280? That way you can kind of see and do this in advance, like what your goal is to spend on that, because you never know. One of your sponsors may pay for that whole entire gown, may blow you out of the water and offer you a free dress. You never know. So that is always an option as well. So that's everything I have before my first divider in my little pageant binder. So does anyone have any questions so far about what I went over about like your bio sheets, your platform, sponsorship, budgeting? What else did I go over? Table of contents, your achievements. Does anyone have any questions about that? I'll wait a little bit and see if I get any comments on it. I lost my spot. Doesn't sound like it. So next, under divider 1, this kind of gets to, should be common sense. You read it once on the website, you think you have it. However, I'm old-fashioned. I'm like that 23-year-old that acts like they're 80. I'm old-fashioned. I like to have hard copies. So what I do is I print out all my information from the website on the organization, all of their rules. And then some organizations will actually send you, what's the word I'm looking for? Handbooks. They send you those handbooks, print them or put them in your 3-ring binder, keep them. Because that way when you're out looking for your outfits for your competition, you're not breaking any rules. I had an organization where you weren't allowed any hoops in your dresses, you weren't allowed any midriffs, you weren't allowed any slits. There was a strict regulation on your train. So it's really important to have that, because when I go shopping for my outfits or if I'm going to see a sponsor, I take this whole binder with me actually. So then that way I could flip through. Yep, nope, that meets my requirement. I'm good to go. So you're confident in your decision making when it comes to following your rules of your organization. So I have the pageant information, all the way through the age divisions, the required competitions, and a little bit about each one. I also have the whole rule packet here, all 4 or 5, 6 pages of it. I just print it off from the website, typically is what I do, and I put it in a Word document and space it so I'm not killing trees more than I have to. But then that way you have it, and I always highlight the sections that are pertaining to my division, so the Miss division. And it's really helpful and handy. Next, we're going to get into what I call my toolbox. So in my toolbox, I typically put in, this is just a blank template. My coach is probably going to smack me because I haven't done it yet, but my introductions and focusing on those. So for some organizations, you only have one introduction, and that's what you do both on stage and in the interview room. Other organizations, you may have only a 30-second fun little introduction, and then you'll have your main introduction you do when you go into interview. So I broke that up into both sections, which I will be working on. If you are watching this, I promise, coach, I will be working on it. Next, I put in some practice interview questions that I've had over the years, or ones that I've seen in tips from practicing over so many years. Put that down, because when you're driving to an organization, like to your pageant, it's a great time. You're stuck in that car forever, might as well read up on them. So that's in my little toolbox, as well as my pattern. I plan on smiling at the judges once you find your floor plan. I'll print out, once we get it, our walking pattern. Anything else my coach gives me, some tips and tricks along the way, that will all go in my little toolbox location. Next is divider, what would that be, 3? I don't know. I lost track. But we're going on to the next section. But does anyone have any questions so far about the toolbox and or rules or handbook section of your pageant binder that helps you with organization? Give it another minute and we'll move on. Give everyone a chance if they're going to type. But yeah, it is really helpful to have it all planned out. I know this sounds like so OCD and like you're way too planned, but I will tell you, this is what has helped. And it also helps when you go through that checkout process or check-in process at nationals or state, because you could literally just flip to that divider, hand out your paperwork, and move on to the next table. So being organized is so important. It's less of a headache during your reign, and it also allows you to enjoy your reign more. So you could actually plan everything and you know when everything's coming. So, meaning no one asked any questions, we're going to move on to the next section, which is actually kind of fun to do. This is like my resource section. I like to research and do all this fun part. This section, I just wanted to let you know when I show you these pages, they are not completely done, as they're still in the working process. But I always put in the information about the state or national location you're going to. That's always the fun part, is to figure out where you're going. So we actually just found out where our host hotel was for this year's nationals. So I have the host hotel information. I will put my confirmation number, check-in information. I will also write down my credit card information. If I put it on, like, I won't put the whole card number, but like what card I put it on to hold it, all of that fun jazz. And then on the back of it, I'll print out all the information for the hotel, like their amenities, their resources, everything they have. The next page, I haven't done it yet, but I'll put in a little page or two about shopping areas, dinners, restaurants, different things in the area, because you may have a day at your organization that you're competing at where you have a fun day, or you may only compete one day out of the 4 or 5 days, and you need to know, what can I do in that free time instead of just sitting at my hotel? If you're at a fun location like Orlando or Anaheim, California, New York, you could definitely sightsee. So it's important to see what's in your area. My mom and dad have actually been researching on their own what they're going to do while we're in Orlando, so wait for their input before I make that page. But another thing I do is travel itinerary. This sounds simple, but you would be amazed. So I actually compare my two before I pick. So I have my flight information up here, my travel itinerary if I'm like road tripping down below. I compare the two. So I add up, what would a flight cost per person? We're going to go through this airline. This is the date we're leaving. This is the day we're coming back. This is how much luggage, all of it. If it's more than what it's going to cost me to drive, you best bet I'm driving. I'm going to save as much money as possible so that this experience is more valuable to me. So the last time I competed, we ended up driving to Orlando and saved about $1,200, honestly, because of flights for my mom and I. It only ended up costing like $300 to $350 in gas just to drive from Iowa to Orlando, and that's honestly not terrible, meaning we were driving an SUV. So it's always important to price shop your itinerary. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. But it's important to see, because you never know. Or you may get a sponsorship with an airline. They may pay for part of your flight. So that's also important to do, is make sure you're really looking into those sponsors. Or you may find a sponsor that's willing to sponsor your hotel fees along the way. Like you have to stay in all Super 8s or all Best Westerns along the way. So that's also something to consider. Next, this one, I have it all in one sheet, but I will explain this process because this process probably won't take place for me until this fall. But I have my whole entire pageant wardrobe typed out. I will put, for example, I think the first one I have on here is introduction. You'll have your outfit, your jewelry, your shoes, an idea of how you would like your hair done. Your hair and makeup team actually may know better, but what you would like. So that will go in here. This top section will be all on one page. That one page will then include a picture of your dress, a picture of your shoes, and a picture of your jewelry or your interview outfit. So that way when you're packing, you could just quickly look and know, bag it, and be done. And so then that way when you also leave your nationals or state pageant, you know you have everything by going through those pictures. I will do that for every single competition. However, if it's like opening number, I'm not going to know what opening number looks like because you may not pick it up until you get there. So that's one thing I do. And then also a lot of people forget this one when planning and prepping and packing, but your check-in outfit. Your check-in outfit is your statement piece. That is you walking into the room representing your state, your organization, and you're here to shine. What do you have to bring to that table? How organized, how prepped are you? So it's always important to represent your state and also feel confident with check-in, not like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to find this out until check-in. No, you want to be polished going into check-in. Hence, all your sheets are polished in clean formatting by being printed, by being in sleeves. So that is something a lot of people forget. So that's why I always highlight it, because I would probably forget if I didn't. So that is what is in there. I will also put in my schedule during this section for the pageant during there. And as I mentioned earlier, I would put it at the beginning of my binder. Another thing I do is I put it in my phone. I put it in my tablet. I put it in my mom's phone. And when my dad used to go to pageants with us, I would put it in his phone, even though he didn't know how to read the notification. He would just say, my phone's going off. Are we supposed to be somewhere? And 90% of the time we had to be somewhere. So that's also an option for you as well. Does anyone have any questions about, oh, in that section, you will also print off your packing list. That packing list, I'm not even going to go into too much because it's going to fit your needs as a title holder. It's going to be what you also need for that specific competition, that organization. So it's going to be different across the board. However, I make three packing lists. My 3 packing lists are what I'm going to pack for competition, like my main suitcases, my main needs. I'm also going to make a packing list for my emergency pageant kit. I live by this thing. My mom laughed at me for how prepared I was, but this last pageant, and I know my coach is watching, she can testify to this. I was so sick the last day of pageant at nationals, and I felt like I was going to die. And because I came prepared with medicine, we were pumping that medicine like clockwork. If I wouldn't have had that, I would have had to run to the store. So it's always important to be prepared and have extras of everything. Even though they say they're bringing their eyelashes, bring extra eyelashes. Bring extra Q-tips, cold medicine. Cold medicine you don't even think you would need. You'll need it, or someone will need it. Another thing I always pack that people laugh at is I pack Vicks. So I put Vicks on my feet and sleep with it during pageant weekends because I sleep better. It's better to get good sleep in a hotel that you're not used to. So that's just my little, always in my pageant emergency kit, along with allergy meds. Do you add those packing lists in your portfolio? Yes. So this is my pageant binder portfolio. I normally put that in there, and I put that in under that section with my itinerary, my packing, my wardrobe, all of that. I put it in there, and I also put it in my phone. Oh, what did happen? Can everyone hear me? It says it's having troubles with this video. Burgundy, if you can hear me, can you type yes? I don't want to refresh and it be gone. No, what happened? Why are you having video? Okay, it says that we're having technical difficulties. Okay, you can hear me, but can you see me? Because it says we're having problems playing on my end. I hope it's working. Okay, you can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay, well, hopefully the video comes back on. But yes, I would put it in that section as well as putting it in my phone so that I'm prepared when I'm out shopping and I need something and I'm packing and something's on sale. I could just grab it and see if it's on my packing list. So good question. Sorry about the video, guys. But the next section is going to be about my competitions. So this is going to be tailored to each and every title holder, each and every contestant. So within this section, you're going to print out what you need for every competition, like your optional competitions. So if you have a talent, I recommend bringing an extra digital copy of your music, your audio, whatever you need. Also, if your organization gives you what are they called? MC cards, make sure to fill those out and have copies of them to take. So you never know. The organization may lose them, you may lose them, you just never know. Next, when I have them in my binder, I actually binder clip them all together so that it's all together. So like all my academic stuff, all my resume stuff, volunteer stuff, so on and so forth. Another really good thing to recommend is that if you plan on participating in Photogenic, you're going to have 2 copies of every photo you're entering. Or you're like me and you only enter once, but you bring like 5 photos to choose from because you're indecisive. Put them in clear pages. That way you have them. And then I also like to print out my pages I'm using in the program so that I can have them just because they look pretty. But that's what you'll use for competition. Does anyone have any questions about the competition divider section? No. Okay. Then last but not least, people tend to forget about this when planning post-pageant. So post-pageant, regardless, you win, you lose, you are struggling, you will still do this. I know you can't see my screen right now because it says troubleshooting, but I'm holding up a sheet that says thank you cards. I have on here everyone that is a sponsor. You will also thank your hair and makeup team. You'll thank the hotel for hosting you guys, even though you may not be a national title holder or part of the organization's team, like staff. You'll still thank them. It's just good courtesy. And then also, if you have anyone that you are doing, that's what I'm looking for, your hair and makeup at nationals, you're going to have them, you're going to send them a thank you card. Or if they're doing your spray tan and they're not a sponsor, you're going to send them a thank you card. And in those thank you cards, I always put a picture from nationals so that they can see how much you enjoyed it. That's the fun part. Sponsors want to see how your experience went at state or national. So make sure to include that because you never know, even though they weren't a sponsor, but they helped you, they may be a sponsor in the future. So that's something to also consider. So with this binder, I use it in my everyday life. I have altered this process for everything I do. I guess not everything. Majority of everything I do. So if I'm a part of an organization and I have a leadership role, I make a binder. If I was prepping for grad school all over again, I would make a binder. When I was in high school planning for, applying for colleges, I would make a binder. So it helps in any way, shape, or form you're doing. If you are going to a dance competition or a cheerleading competition, make a binder. What do you need? What do you need to pack? What's your travel itinerary, your schedule, your workout schedule before? All of those things can make sense with a binder and organization. Have it in your planner. Set reminders in your phone. Delegates, I cannot preach enough. Have stuff in your phone. Have stuff in your planner so that you know when your projects are so you're not doing them last minute. And also schedule out when you plan on doing your thank you notes so that you're holding yourself accountable. Schedule out when you're going to do sponsorship projects, things like that. So does anyone have any questions so far? We'll wait and see. We have some time to ask any questions. Along with that, just adjust the binder process or the organization process to best fit you. Like I mentioned, this is just what I do. I know girls that do their binders completely different. You could watch YouTube videos on pageant binders for days, and every single one is different in some way, shape, or form. So it's important just to adjust your organization planning to your organizational needs. So we don't have any questions. So like I said, when I get off this video, I will share the Nation Nationals link for anyone that was interested when I talked about UNN. And then also feel free to follow me on social media. So my platform is, you can find it at Facebook at crowned.u, or you could find me on Instagram at Tiffany Hull, or not Tiffany Hull, at Tiff Hull. Or you guys can follow me on my Facebook page for the pageant, which is at missia.un2020. So feel free to reach out to me. I can answer any more questions you guys may have about organization, about pageantry that I can answer, being a vet, I guess, coming in and out of retirement. But I'm willing to answer any questions. And thank you again at Girls Who's Brunch Tour for this amazing opportunity. Thank you all, and I hope this was helpful in helping you guys with organization.